Okay, we can't hear it say recording in progress because I turned the speakers off, but I just want to make sure it is doing the little thing. Okay, the audio is going in. Welcome to our one and only Northwest Voices event for the winter of 2025. I'm so appreciative to have Jane Wong here, whose book, multiple books. So this is her second book of poetry. She also, as we were just discussing, has a new memoir out, which I'm sad to say I haven't had a chance to read yet, but I'm excited to do so. And this book just captivated me immediately. I was looking for it when I was in Powell's a couple of months ago and found it. And, you know, I'm always gravitated to a poem with a great title. And so the first one I read was the last one. It's called After Preparing the Altar, the Ghosts Feast Feverishly. And it's just an amazingly wonderful poem. We're just excited to have Jane here. As you heard, teaches at Western Washington University, has lots of awards and fellowships and things. This is her workshop, and you're the only author to ever title your workshop. So this is very, very fun to have a workshop called Writing Deliciously. I'm very excited about it. Take it away.
Okay. Introduction, and just the generosity of, sharing my poetry. That title that you just mentioned, I purposely wanted it to feel like a huge mouthful to say out loud.
It is.
After preparing the altar, the ghost feast feverishly, because it's kind of like a feast, like in the actual sound of the words. But yeah, I'm super excited to be here, and this is a kind of specific workshop of sorts in thinking about nourishment and sensory detail and thinking about the ways in which we can write, deliciously with all our kind of like senses, like sound, smell, and touch and feel, everything around us. And so I really wanted to kind of like have this, especially during a time when I think it's about to be spring or things are about to kind of shift into spaces of like wanting to, like get out of the practice of winter and into the nourishing space of like, I don't know, I'm not ready for like a potluck or ready for the barbecue or like the whatever it is. So that's kind of the theme of today. And I have kind of really three writing sparks today. I can call them beginnings of poems, and for those of us who are here today to be writing, but also students to be writing later. That I really want to think of these as like little seeds of poems or little sprouts that you can kind of return to later. Before I kind of dive into like looking at some of these poems, I probably just kind of start by going straight into it and start by writing, because there's nothing better to dive in than just like starting to stretch. I always think about doing these poetry exercises literally like just in time, we're just about to write a little bit, so good. Perfect timing. And just handing out a few poems here for later.
Oh, hi, Becky.
Nice. And then we'll kind of meet each other and get to know each other and look at some poems. But if you want to open up to a fresh page in your notebook or on the back of one of these poems or on your laptop or whatever, we're just going to write just a little mini rewrites or just to get things going. And this is going to be a litany, which is a type of kind of poetic approach, which is a very fancy way to say a list. One thing I actually love about poetry is that poets, for some reason, have the fanciest sounding terms for things. Like there's like Señora, sounds like a coffee shop or something. Or like an opera, and then they're just actually simple things, but I love it. Like it's not just a list, it's 50. So we're going to be writing a litany poem today, which is simply a list. So in this list, what I want you to do is write all the things that you've eaten today. But here's the twist. I want you to start off with something that you've eaten literally. So today I ate a slightly bruised banana. And then the second thing I want you to write on this list is something that you ate metaphorically or something a little more ephemeral or fantastical. So I also ate a strand of my mother's hair. Not actually true, or maybe I mean, unless my mom's, yeah. And then I want to go back to literal, and then metaphorical, literal, metaphorical. So back and forth, back and forth. If you did not eat a lot today, maybe you could write, I wish I ate, right? So write this in a litany style, so just a list of the things you've eaten today. Again, going back and forth between the literal and the metaphorical. So we'll go ahead and write, we'll just gonna describe that way, and however many you get. Literally write it as a bullet point list if you'd like to, but,
Can I have a question about what is the definition of literal and what is the definition of metaphor?
great question. Literal, I take that as just like, oh, this is actually something that I ate today, or like, you could be specific to about it, like cold coffee with a little bit of oat milk or whatever it is. But metaphorical is something that's, I don't know why, it doesn't have to be metaphorical, it can also be like more ephemeral or fantastical.
Like fantasy, right?
Yeah, something
Okay.
like that.
And this is more like numbers. I get it.
Yeah, you can do it that way too. And it's okay if it starts to get intermingled or something.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, let's just start there. We'll probably wait for just like 2 minutes or so, just to kind of start, see where we can. my just met a few of you, but I don't know if you all know each other, but so that we can kind of get to know each other. And share whatever you'd like to share with us. So maybe you want to share the whole thing, maybe you just want to share one or two on your list. So take a moment if you want to look back at what you wrote and make a circle what you might want to share or share the whole thing. But just take a moment to see what you have. Maybe kind of go around sharing your name. Maybe if you want to share also what brings you here today for poetry. And then share maybe what you want to share from the litany. I don't know who wants to start. Let's start.
Sure. Hi, I'm Becky. I'm youth services librarian over at the library, and Austin is my husband, and he helps coordinate this. It's one of the reasons I'm here. I also saw you a couple of years ago at the Portland Book Festival, and you were talking with yes, it was so good. So I'm really glad that you're here. And I think to be fine. 2 gummy multivitamins. You're Losing Me by Taylor Swift. 3 vitamin C gummies. Several dozen unread emails. 1 cup of Keurig coffee. 14 toddlers clapping all together at pop. A ham and Swiss baguette sandwich. I wish it was a real French baguette sandwich in France.
I know, it's like when we talk about fantasy, I'm just like, I can't like tap it, make it real. Thanks, Becky.
That's cool. Because we're, I wanna hear who else we have here. I don't know you, so.
I'm Amy Foss. I'm a graduate of associate program here at LCC, and I just recently moved back, and I've been a writer. I took a lot of Joe Green's writer workshop, and he was just amazing at like helping me like write down things, and he was the best. So I just thought I'd try and see if I get some spurts growing in my mind and start working on my writing again. That's why I decided to come here. So it's out in the paper, my mom.
You want to share a little
Yeah, sure. I'm not sure if I did this right, but I'm just gonna go for it. I ate 2 cherries this morning. I had an out of this world tasting of the special chai I made at the college coffee stand. I didn't know I had 2 cherries, but they were so tasty. The barista was kind and funny and a nice person to talk to. So I'm not sure if you saw how I like one statement was really just like just the bare.
Oh, sorry.
Is this, sorry, is this the 148 main building?
Yeah,
That one event?
yeah. Are you for the Northwest Voices Workshop?
Yeah.
Welcome.
No. Glad you're here.
So I'm not sure what they mean, but that's what I wrote this morning, so.
Oh, that's great. And you said your name was Amy, is that what you said?
Amy Foss, yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, we moved here, my family, when I was a child, in like the 70s. So my mom's had a house near the lake like forever, and I've had certain like journeys away, lived away for years and came back for years, and now I've just been here about a couple months, so anyway. Yeah, thanks for having this workshop. It's nice to get out and just be out with like getting help for writing. It's a nice opportunity.
Hi, my name's Fern, and I got interested, well, I'm very glad there was an email early enough that I could plan to do this. But your books on New Jersey, I grew up in New Jersey. And I have a lot of beach recollections, as all of us do, because, that's where you roam. And it was wonderful to see the titles of your books. I haven't gotten them yet, so that will be something I'll look for also in Paul's project. And I'm here, I just enjoy writing and enjoy words and what you were saying about the senses and appreciating, this is the time, you know, the seeds, we're gathering our seeds now, getting ready to put it in the ground. And then when you mentioned Joe Green, one of the few people I know here is his wife.
So awesome, oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, the connects are wonderful and it's delicious to have this opportunity. I appreciate it. Here's what I wrote. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Dip into tapping. Sweet water on body. Calm Tai Chi. Vitamins, minerals. Open air music. Naked protein lift. Brisk walk. New Jersey recollections. More tropical sips. Peaceful ponderings. Sip, sip, sip.
Thanks so much, Fern. Thank you.
So I don't know about any of your experiences with growth spurts, but I am presumably the youngest person here.
Thank you. Right.
We'll have to check.
I'm 12. How old are you, all of
Oh,
you?
yeah. Born on a leap year.
So who are you?
I am Bob. I am a free spirit. I am very creative. I actually published a book a few years ago.
Congratulations.
This is what I wrote. Today, I ate 2 bowls of cereal. Today, I ate up a bit of space. Today, I drank milk with my cereal. Today, I ate up the gas in my space. I wish to have eaten a cup of ice cream. I wish to have eaten a hungry person's sadness. I want to have 2 scoops of ice cream, plus my own sadness, too.
That's great.
That's great.
That's good.
That's called that.
Yeah, I kind of took what you said about going from literal eating to metaphorical eating kind of literally.
Bob, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I don't want people to think that I was born in 1962, so you can call me Bobby if that helps.
You crack me up. I'm Crystal. I'm Bob's mom. I'm also a writer. I write thrillers and mystery books. And we do homeschool. We like finding activities that are out in the world. So I got the email early enough that I was able to plan to come. So thank you.
That's huge.
I always find out about things like the day after. And so
We-
it's
we
nice.
got one.
It's nice. I happen to sit down at my computer. Today I ate a bowl of Dale gnocchi, a bite-sized protest, 2 eggs and a Diet Coke, 3 large helpings of forgetfulness, a banana dotted with chocolate chips, and second helpings of running late.
Nice. That's really nice. Thanks so much, Chris.
Excellent.
I'm Austin. I'm the circulation specialist at the library and help coordinate these events. I also took a bunch of classes from Joe Green when he taught here. Nice to hear about that. Wrote strong coffee with a spoonful of brown sugar, a little bit of sun breaking through, crumbs from the bottom of the chip bag, rain spray on the freeway, a greasy breakfast sandwich, the smell of milk.
Ever present, so. So, I'm Chris Tower. I coordinate Northwest Voices with Austin. I teach here at the college. I have met Joe Green, though did not have the pleasure of even working with him since he was retired before I started teaching here. I don't identify as a poet. I did get an MFA in which I studied it, but I really think of myself more as a fiction writer. But lately I've been writing a lot of poetry, so you know, it's not something I don't do. So this is what I wrote today. A piece of New Orleans king cake with vanilla the baker gutted herself. Bloodless, mushy, bland words of dry straw and blurred leaves. Crunchy granola from a wrapper. Loud words, soft words, out of mouths, with blasting laughter as punctuation. Coffee smoothed by oat milk, shaken by hand, the memory of my father's last breaths.
I know you came in late, but no pressure. Since you didn't get, I can share later with you the writing prompts, but do you wanna share your name and maybe what brings you to writing?
Yeah, so, my name is Ruslan, it's a Ukrainian name. I've come here, I'm in a language arts class and, also, I'm here to kind of write a review or a reflection. I would never dare to call myself a poet or writer because I'm not, that good at it, but I really like learning language arts and writing poetry oriented things. So this is a good opportunity for that.
Whose class are you in?
I'm in such a spot, I can't even think right now. So, Heidi?
Heidi.
Heidi?
Yeah, Heidi Bauer.
Yeah, let's try.
Excellent.
It's Roseanne.
Ruslan, yeah.
Great to meet you, and I'll probably try to make you a poem by the end of this, is my goal. Because it's fun, everyone is a writer in their own, everyone's a storyteller, I can say that, everyone is a storyteller. My name is Jane. I'm here because I was very graciously invited to be here. And I'm excited to be writing the next little bit of time we have together, sharing some poems. I'll share mine, which is, today I ate a bag of stale corn chips driving to Longview, ate the gurgling spit of my brother's new baby girl, ate the banana so sweet I had to gulp coffee afterwards, ate my mother's tomato bread laugh after she hugs me. I've always missed her. I ate tiny crumbs off my jacket in my car. Salty. I ate my anxiety cold in a tray of jello. So thanks so much for trying out that exercise. Sometimes I do this every day and I'm just like, see what happens, because you kind of, hopefully eat every day. So like there's something, if not literal, but also something that comes up that's what's on your mind, because like you're eating these things, but you're also like thinking about the things that are on your mind, like while you're eating them. Okay, so I want to kind of switch gears a little bit and take a look at a poem by one of my favorite poets, Bill Clinton. This is a shorter one, it's called Cutting Reeds. And actually, audio, I believe I can play it. So it's been awesome, so it'll be okay. Reading this poem, because I always find that when a poet can read their poems out loud, it's a little better than just hearing it in their voice and their style. Let's see. Oh, maybe I don't have Wi-Fi in here. That could be a little.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
The login is right behind you. It's LCC. The network is LCC and it's, the password is LCC open wireless with those capital letters, the rest lowercase. Yep, that's it. Yep.
Oh,
Everything lowercase, set the O and the W. We do this all the time.
Okay, good. Because I was like, oh no, I always panic whenever there's like a tech thing where I'm just like, dang. But it's okay. All right. Here is Lucille Clifton reading Cutting Greens. And for any of you who haven't read Lucille Clifton before, she's just incredible at writing short poems. I find short poems the most challenging thing to write because it requires a kind of intensity and a precision and a kind of bouillon cube-like quality. Like it's so intense in its shortness. Okay, here's Lucille Clifton.
Called Cutting Greens. I've read it before and I'm pleased to see that what happened that time didn't happen this time. When I read it before, I said cutting greens and people laughed. To which I said, cutting greens aren't funny, greens are good. This is a strange poem because in the middle of cutting cutting them, I began thinking about what I was doing. And it suddenly struck me as strange that I was, usually you mix greens. Some people may not do that, but you do. And I was thinking about, look at me mixing these greens, and they may not want to be mixed. I thought that was a strange thing for me to do. Well, anyhow, cutting greens. Curling them around. I hold their bodies in obscene embrace, thinking of everything but kinship. Colored and kale strained against each strange color. Away from the kissing. The comfort is like. And just for a moment, it's rolled black as the night. And the kitchen twists dark on its side. I taste in my natural appetite. The bottom of life.
So it's taking a while to have it sinking because there's a lot going on here. But let's talk about it a little bit. I'll read it out loud one more time just so we can have it, in our ears. But cutting greens, curling them around, I hold their bodies in obscene embrace, thinking of everything but kinship. Collards and kale strain against each strange other, away from a kiss-making hand, an iron fed pot. The pot is black, the cutting board is black, my hand, and just for a minute, the greens roll black under the knife, and the kitchen twists dark on its spine, and tastes of a natural appetite, the pound of live things. Okay, so, and you probably heard from Lucille Clifton's story at the very beginning of her reading, that she's basically saying like, oh, the poem begins just like literally cutting collards and kale, like I'm doing like prep, right, for a dish. But then it took me somewhere else, which is kind of the surprise of this poem. Is there anything you're noticing about the poem, just looking at it, anything you're noticing about some of the language here, lines that stand out to you, or even the shape of it, or anything you're noticing about that wherever?
Well, this is just one of the most fricked up things I have ever read. Because basically, it's just about a person carelessly tearing apart the life of the world to make a meal.
That's really interesting. I like the point that you're making about kind of like the fact that they are just like, cutting up this like kale, and then suddenly it becomes like about something bigger, like it's not literal anymore. It's not about the kale and the collards here, but about something way bigger. It goes off out of the kitchen, basically, right? Starts in the kitchen, goes somewhere else. Yeah. Anyone else wants to add other things you're noticing?
I noticed she had font similar to T.S. Eliot. He's lowercase. He's one of my favorite artists.
Holy, but there's lowercase, this whole poem, right? Like lowercase. So you look at the second to last line, there's capital I here. And I think that's definitely saying something. We think about the lowercase I, we tend to be smaller, or something's being like, less emphasized. But I taste my natural appetite. So there's something about a declaration of like self or some, yeah. So definitely I noticed that too. All lowercase otherwise.
I was gonna say that I really loved, the kitchen twists dark on its spine. Yeah,
Yeah, that was.
that kind of metaphor or language like that, and that's the point at which I'm not sure what's going on in the poem. Because, the fact that the pot and the cutting board are black. But then for just a minute, her hand and the greens roll black under the knife, and I'm not sure what's going on there, but then that next line is like the whole world turns, and but it's just a really great way to say that. So.
Absolutely, and Lucille Clifton is he's a Black poet. This is like a poem that's really kind of yeah, about cutting vegetables, but it's also about her identity and like who she is. And so that moment that you're saying with like my hands, like something happens to her emotionally or about herself. That something with like the kitchen kind of like changes and maybe she's, you know, thinking about kind of ancestral, something's out in space, something's bigger than herself. But that moment, the kitchen twists dark on its spine, such a strange image. I wanna add another word here, which is a volta. We'll talk about voltas in a bit. And usually in thinking about what a volta is in a poem, it's basically the turn in the poem. So we're going along, things are happening in the poem that feel like, okay, we know where we are, and then a volta happens. A volta is when the moment in the poem where we just go somewhere totally we're not expecting to go. And this is what's so strange to me and what I love about poetry is that we'll kind of write a poem and suddenly some other knowledge or some other thing happens in the poem that we did not predict. It's the opposite kind of writing a short story or fiction where you're trying to plot kind of like what's going to happen next, what's going to happen next. In this case, you can't really know when a volta is about to happen. And something happens emotionally for Lucille Clifton here because she was just writing about cutting vegetables, but then a volta happened, a turn happened. And it's actually about something much bigger than her. She's thinking about the bond of life things everywhere. She's thinking about how we're all connected together, right? Which is way kind of what Bob was saying. We didn't start that way. We ended up somewhere totally else. So yeah, the kitchen twist dark on the spine for me is definitely a volta moment when the poem pivots somehow. Anything else you're noticing about the language or maybe some words that stand out to you? Cool.
So I don't know if it applies, but in class, my language arts class, Professor Heidi, we studied cacophony, like different we're called, I'm so sorry, cacophony and euphony, I think. So harsh sounds and pleasant sounds. I found there's stanza away from my kissing hand, in the iron bed pot. The kiss making hand and away sounds, both of those words sounds pleasant. And then also for the harsher sounds, I would have to agree on, what's your name?
Chris.
Chris, yeah, I really liked, in the kitchen twist dark on its spine. Dark, that word sounds harsh. And also another line, the greens roll, the greens roll black under the knife. So, harsher sounds to show emotion.
Oh, I really love the point that you're making here, that, yeah, the lines later have a little harshness, sounding wise, and earlier, away from my kiss making hand, all those A sounds, a little softer, more melodic, as you're
Yeah.
saying. And I love that you brought up that line because kiss making, bed pot, are these real words?
I don't know.
Good, yeah, are they?
I was gonna ask what is a kiss making hand, but I'm not sure what an iron bed pot is either, other than, you know, like a chamber pot type.
Her husband hand is making the kale and the colors like, yeah,
Right,
putting them together.
right.
And the bed pots where they like, sleep together.
That's where the cast iron pot is, I guess, you imagined it, but they're totally made up words. So Clifton just made them up, but we're making them real because they make sense based on how she's trying to create imagery or trying to make us like imagine the greens kind of mixing them. And I love that she took this risk here because it's already starting to create some of that imagination beyond literal. I think when we start with just cutting the greens and we start to push ourselves into a space of imagination too. So there's a lot going on in this poem. There's voltas, there's like a lot of sound on here. There's like made up words. There's like an epiphany of sorts with the self. So I want us to play around with this and be inspired by the kind of strangeness of this poem and do a little bit of writing ourselves. That said, before we write a poem, and we're going to be writing a pretty short poem, so That's always a challenge for me, but it's always incredible to see what we can write in such a short period of time. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm like, time to write. And I'm like, I have 5 minutes, I can write something. But we might need to help each other for this poem. So I'm basically gonna give you both, give everybody 2 Post-it notes. And on those Post-it notes, I would love for you, and I find this kind of, challenging in some ways too, because I usually get out of my like comfort zone when I do this, but what I want you to do on these 2 Post-it notes is actually to write made up words. So one on each Post-it note, you're gonna be writing 2 made up words, like kiss making, like bed pot, whatever that may be. That's when you start to like combine random words together or anything of that sort. But one on each of these Post-it notes. Any made up word. I'll do that first. Grab a room and start putting words together. Okay. Take another second, don't overthink it too much. Write anything down.
Yep.
What I'd love for you to do, is go ahead and stick them along the room wherever, just like, you know, like this, or maybe within reach, like if people can reach them. But go ahead and stick it around the room. And stay up for a second, because we'll gather them too. So stick them to the wall. And then, once you stuck them to the wall, I would love for you to go ahead and choose 2, not your own. So go ahead and choose 2, not your own. Fun.
Use it.
I know, a little bit.
Be stacked with one.
Everybody got 2?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Before we write a bit together, what are some of the words that you got? You can shout them out. It's okay. It's never.
Dog happy and iron sweet.
Dog happy and iron sweet.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a surprising one. The last one. Anyone else want to share?
Laugh chain, mellow dams.
No, Dancel. Love it. You know?
Steel bright, happy going.
You know, that's a nice one, actually. I got mud stink. Glass grog. I don't know, glass grog as like, I don't know. Anyone else?
Hard run, full pain,
Ooh, what's the last one?
full pain.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoa, that's kind of metal. I love it, I love it. Okay. Here's what I want us to do. Hold on to these words. Here's my prompt for you. We're going to start in the kitchen. So the beginning of your poem is you basically doing something in the kitchen, maybe it's you putting on one pot of water, maybe you're chopping onions, maybe you're peeling garlic, but you're just kind of starting something in the kitchen. And what I love for you to do is as you're writing about actually kind of just maybe doing something in the kitchen, like prepping something, even if it's very simple. Let yourself go where the memory takes you, like where this might lead you. Maybe that peeling of the garlic reminds you of your grandmother or something. So allow yourself that kind of like movement towards your memory. Try to incorporate at least one of these words into your poem as you're writing. It may surprise you how you may incorporate these words here. And then there's one last part of this prompt. When you hear me yell out Volta, I want you to turn. I want you to go somewhere. Either literally out of the kitchen, somewhere else, maybe somewhere emotionally, maybe the subject changes, maybe the sound changes Volta-wise, maybe something. You gotta turn, you gotta go somewhere else. And you may or may not yell Volta twice. So just be aware of that. But just as a reminder, we're just starting in the kitchen, prepping something. Allow yourself for whatever sensory memory that brings you. Try to incorporate at least one of these words in. We'll write for maybe like 7 minutes or so, but I don't want to tell you exactly the time because I can't tell you when I'll yell out Volta. But okay, let's start. See where we go. feel like us to do just for a few moments. I'm gonna carry you up. To share, however much you want to share of the book. And maybe you two are on together. If you two are on together. You two are on together. You two are on together.
What do you exactly mean by work together?
Just sharing what you wrote, or however much you want to share.
Okay.
I'm singing. I'm very, I'm very artsy. It might not noise.
Mellow damage, that really kind of.
Yeah, it's loud.
Yeah.
I had chair drill and then was.
You wanna start?
Really there.
So how is it about yourself?
Nonsense and stuff like. Noticing.
Most of it's letter I, and then this. I changed letter H. And then Right, so it makes sense. I never get it from my space. It's called dog. It's all in water.
I
Take your hand away from inside,
just trying to show us how this box is writing two different kinds of money.
Can I look at it? Thanks, cause I couldn't.
So I think that there's like that dog
Inside the fridge is web of yours.
Oh, no, no.
Pain.
Pain. Okay, so sometimes the, what is change?
No, it's fine, you should see mine.
Try to use it.
Dog happy and I can speak, yeah. Now you see,
I didn't know.
you'll never be able to read that. He was writing night chocolate walnuts, making moms melt her mouth brownies. She'd be 102. Teeth and pulls 102 yesterday. And still I stay out shopping nuts and I feel her beside me. Right? Yes, because the house. Saves our lives and everything. And without bills. Classic.
I think the person in my character, I think the person, yeah, is the one who always
Yeah.
Yeah, but you person turned into dog happy and I am sweet. So dog happy, I would be dog happy baking brownies. Yeah, because, yeah, that's.
And I guess in this context, parents to act like dog. In the iron, it's like sticks iron, like. Elementary.
Yeah, well, dogs do have a very happy life, most.
I suppose.
Not the stray dogs. Oh, I'm sorry, well.
Oh, yeah, stray dog, yours loses, their parents with stray, and then that makes it, iron.
There you go, well, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing with your partner. I like to share in this way, is like, if you want to share what you wrote, or nominate your fellow writer, poet to share with their permission. I always like being like, but you can always say no, with their permission always. But does anyone want to share or nominate their fellow poet to share? Nominations are always a kindness. I will say that, but you also don't have to, but.
I mean, I guess I can't nominate myself.
You can.
Oh, I'm nominating myself.
I love
Okay,
that.
I was gonna nominate, they didn't wanna put you under the.
Yeah. You're a published author, so.
You shared before, your poem, what your, post-it notes are again?
Oh, I got Iron Sweet and Dog Happy.
Dog happy. I can see. Great, okay.
Go. I never care for many things. It's all me and me is all. I've been called dog happy even as I reach for the fridge. I'm like that fridge, cold and iron sweet. Inside its fridge is a web of pains. I don't care. I just care about my juice box. The juice box is sweet, yummy, and beautiful. And I suck it all away along with the sandwich of farm sweet cheese and such. Do I look like I care? I don't. I'm dog happy. Iron sweet.
The dog sweet iron happy, I like that it returns.
But you work those words in really well. And you were in the poem. It's really, especially Iron Sweet, that was really well done.
It's really cool. Thanks, Bob. Anyone else want to share, nominate someone to share? Really liked what they shared.
Well, I mean, I do want to nominate my partner as well.
Oh, reverse nomination.
Nice.
I like it.
Well, the words that I have are steel bright and happy going.
Who wrote Still Bright? All right, happy going?
Done.
That was you, great.
Alright, thanks. Steel bright knife chopping walnuts. Making mom's melt in your mouth brownies. She'd have turned 102 yesterday. And still I stand chopping and I feel her brightest day. Beside me, brightest day. Yes, 'tis a happy going kitchen moment. Then poof, gone. No more to feel her warmth, save for walks on memory lane and when we meet on Heaven's Boulevard.
Wow. Beautiful. I felt the bow tie then. Was it the poof?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was, I had just finished saying happy going kitchen moment, and then you
Wow.
called for both.
Very, yeah.
And yeah, and it is just like that, you know, like she'd be 102 yesterday, obviously it was her birthday. And it's just so shocking, you know, when you just to ponder that amount of time and, I mean, she left almost 10 years ago, but she was in her 90s and, you know. Anyway, and I live in an apartment that's the same age as she is. Yeah. So I was going through my things yesterday with her birthday. Thank you.
I especially felt that whole time. Thank you so much.
I'm glad you-
And thanks for the nomination. Beth.
Yes. Thank you.
Good team here.
It was really nice to have someone to work with, like closely, to pay attention to one person's process.
Yeah.
Very good.
I heard a few more. Anybody else want to share or nominate their?
Yeah, I have never written a poem.
Oh.
So I speak different, well, English is my first language. So this is the first time that I'm studying poems and it's so interesting to hear other people. So this is what I said. I imagine myself talking. I have a lot of words crossed out, so I'm sorry, might have to stop. So I imagine myself talking to my friends and feeling heart breath. That's the first word. I would often prefer to spend time at the mall. And then the weather seems to change, but I could be a fool pain to expect sunny days. So the word is fool pain. And then that's kind of like it wasn't as smooth transitioning, but I would try to go from talking about my friends and where I'd like to hang out to weather, which It's kind of getting there, you know, it's a good experience.
Yeah, I like that visit too. It's so much fun. Also, remind me what the first few lines, the first line with the heart something.
Heart breath, so I imagine myself talking to my friends and feeling heart breath.
I like that. Imagine talking to your friends and feeling heart breath. That's a great one. That's great. Who wrote heart breath? Great one. What's the second one again?
Full pain.
Full pain.
That was me.
What great.
That's real good.
Maybe one or two more.
I guess I'll share mine. Mine is totally different, perspective. I have a full pot of chicken soup. I poured water from the Instapot water machine. It took a while to boil on the stove. Then I put in my noodles. They turned to soft noodles. In a few minutes, I drained out the water and put butter and garlic and some Parmesan. What the hell? Why are you making me right now? I have nothing to say. It has all been said before, not by you. I am not in favor of being coaxed out to be doing anything. I, my captivity, and myself are one.
Yeah, that's such a surprising moment too. It just kind of like reminds me of like whenever I'm making like something that takes a while, I kind of just go into
Oh,
other.
yeah, and then you just think like, what is going on?
Like, I'm like, yeah, you go into.
Yeah, anxiety
Yeah.
kind of like when you're on the stove, it's hard to just focus on what's on the stove because it's like
Yeah.
there's so many possibilities. But yeah, and then it kind of goes like anger about like, don't bother me.
I think it's been years now.
Okay. Any cooking must start with the dishes. Drying rack emptied, dishwasher emptied, the sink emptied, scoured, ready. The rock kick of memory hammers at me with each dish stowed, each pot cleansed. My dad, clearing space, emptying counters, opening space. The clear counters stretch, pushing walls out of reach, sliding into a distance and an out of reach horizon. And nothing is enough. What is enough is nothing. I am my father. The kitchen is not yet ready.
I was saying there was like double voltas in that one. It felt like there was multiple voltas. Really, really beautiful.
Thanks.
And the words that you had.
I had polydendroid, which I had no idea how to work that in. But it's a really cool and interesting word. I was trying to think of a way, but I didn't get there. Rock kick was the other one, and I really like that.
I think I wrote that one too. Yeah.
Well, polydendroid was mine. That's been a word in I have tried to work that word into a book ever since I was very young. It's really, I mean, you could have done it with kitchen.
Yeah, I was thinking
You're
in that
lucky with
direction,
that.
and it just didn't come yet. And
I
she said
loved
we
your
didn't have to do
counter.
both. She
Yeah.
said we only had to work in.
I
at least
did.
one.
Didn't want to make it, yeah.
So I held back. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow, these are great. It's okay if I share mine.
yes.
I had Mudstink. Who wrote that? Mudstink? You did? Glass grog? Okay, great, okay. Cutting slivers of ginger, so thin they are matchsticks of my heart. Lately, I felt so glass groggy. What was the world on fire? The ginger is so spicy, I have to guzzle water glass after glass. My mother loves ginger, says it cures any mud stink sickness. Headache, stomachache, heartache, more ginger, she says, and it stings me awake. And there I am, a child again, missing my father, who's gone, who's always gone. Is there enough ginger to breathe through this? Where's the time? I love Volta. I know, but I love, thank you for Let's Think Glass Grog, because it really, I was like, I feel so glass groggy, and I really love doing mud stink sickness. Like, so thank you. Oh my gosh, these are so
Is
great.
it grass or glass?
Glass groggy. Yeah, thanks so much for writing this. Wow, we are fast in time, which is great. I have planned for one last exercise, but that's okay. It could be a take-home one. You can take this poem with you. It's called The Traveling Onion by Naomi Shihab. And it's an ode. And an ode is a poem that is praising something. And I love that this is an ode to an onion because it's something that we often don't praise or kind of feels like it disappears. So my prompt for you in this one is to really think about a vegetable or fruit or an ingredient that has a lot of meaning to you, how to be something that's in your family or something that oftentimes gets forgotten, and to write an ode to it, to give it like the power and strength that it deserves. And how did it even arrive to you? That's where this poem would start. Like, how did you get this fruit or vegetable? And I always think about that too, because my mother, she's a gardener and she grows a lot of her vegetables. And then I just go to the grocery store and like get mine, and there's like a different relationship with the vegetable as a result. And so like, yeah, when I wrote my ode, it was like that dissonance between, you know, actually growing potato versus getting from the store. But that's a take home for you all, since we had such great writing time already. But I love these poems, these bits and pieces that you started today. As I mentioned at the start, these are just meant to be seeds, and hopefully they surprised you. I think my goal in thinking about writing deliciously is to try to get into your senses, try to get out of your comfort zone when you're writing, and try made up words, which actually was really fun to kind of incorporate and think through, because you actually have to make up what it means to you. But these were great. I loved everything that you shared today, from the first bit we wrote to this one. Also fun to have an afternoon of poetry writing, which is always a treat when there's email and like laundry and all these other things yelling at you, that you get to have some time to also meet each other and share poems as well. So thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thank you for coming, everyone. Thank you so much.
This was really fun.
Yeah, done.
And tonight, Jane will be at the library doing a reading at